Hey guys, so this is a DVD and Blu-ray update video, but it's also going to be sort of a follow-up to that previous update that I did. Like there was a life update where I talked about some shows I'm going to, and I said I've started being in this like group. So yeah, I did say in that previous video that I was going to see an old school comedian called Jimmy Tarbuck, and also a more modern comedian called David O'Doherty. And yeah, I mean, I rather enjoyed Jimmy Tarbuck. I was interested in seeing him because I know he's been at a Talking Pictures festival before. Not at one I went to. He was at one before I started going, but he's been involved with Talking Pictures TV before. I have seen his interview with Talking Pictures on the Encore catch-up service, and yeah, I mean, I quite enjoyed his stand-up show. Yeah, it was a good night out. I enjoyed that. I think the one I enjoyed more was the David O'Doherty one. He was really funny. So that one, my dad had already booked to see, and is because and he decided like I could come along because I'd said that I wanted to try and see more comedians. Because I mean, I've said that since I would myself would like to get into comedy in some way someday, it would be good for me to see some comedians, performing. So like, I guess I could get some ideas. So yeah, it would be nice for me to see some comedians, and they do have some quite a lot of comedians come at my local theatre. And yeah, David O'Doherty, he does have like opening acts like on his show, and they were kind of lesser known comedians, and it was good to give them a spotlight, I guess. And I enjoyed them as well, but I think David himself was my favourite thing. Yeah, he was hilarious. He's known for performing with. He has like a keyboard that he plays, but he did also like get up and stand up, and do stand up comedy, without the keyboard. And yeah, he was just hilarious. I mean, even like when he had like the picture of himself behind him. He mentioned, it was a picture that was taken pre-pandemic, and it was a picture like he kind of looked a bit younger in that picture, even though it was like just before the pandemic the picture was taken. And like, now his beard is getting a bit more like grey, and like he mentioned like he was hoping he could stay looking like that forever. He said, I was hoping I could do a Paul Rudd and just look young forever. But yeah, it was good, like self-deprecating humor, and yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed him. I also talked about in that previous video about some like group sessions that I'm going to be doing, where I learn about like reviewing stuff, and I can get free tickets to go and see stuff at the theatre, or other places or whatever, and I can get to write a review of the thing I saw on the company's website. And when I did that previous video, I had only done the first session of that. Now I've done the second session, and yeah, I had been told like in the sessions to come, we get to like meet people who are like involved with the theatre and stuff. And this time, the last session I did, we got to like go into the auditorium, and like there were people who worked there in that theatre and like talked about it, and yet when we were in that auditorium, Nigel Havers came up on stage because he was practicing, because he was going to be on later that evening. And I have seen actually Nigel Havers live before. He was at one of the Talking Pictures festivals that I went to, so yeah, it was cool to see him there. I mean, we were kind of in the back, and he did like kind of acknowledge the people who were there in the back. Like, yeah, he might have seen me. I think maybe I might have waved or something. Yeah, he did like kind of look at the people in the back. He did like perform a bit of like his thing, like he was doing a talk thing, and although he did say like some of the stuff he said, like, this isn't going to be on my show, by the way. So yeah, but I mean, I quite enjoyed seeing him there, and it's kind of cool because he is somebody who I've seen before at a Talking Pictures festival. So first, I'm going to show this documentary that I forgot to show this in my previous physical media update video, which it really actually rather annoys me because it's a really good documentary. I saw this on Netflix a while ago, and I remember really enjoying it, and yeah, I watched it again on Blu-ray and really enjoyed it again. And it's a documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbour? about Fred Rogers or Mr. Rogers, which we didn't have Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood in the UK. It was not really as known over here, but I guess Mr. Rogers did get more exposure over here when this documentary came out. I mean, I watched it on Netflix. It was on the UK Netflix, and yeah, I guess this did get some release over here. I know they did also do a movie, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, with Tom Hanks after this, which also did get released over here, which yeah, I remember enjoying that movie as well. But this documentary, I learned a lot about him. Yeah, and I think Mark Kermode also said he learned about Mr. Rogers from this, because he did review the Tom Hanks movie when that came out, and I think he said it was this movie he saw before that where he learned more about Mr. Rogers. But yeah, this is a great documentary. It really shows what a great man he was. And yeah, I do kind of think it's kind of a shame to think he was not really as known in my country, but at least some more people are aware now because of this documentary. I got this movie, which I rather enjoyed, Dogman. So yeah, it is based on the book series that's a spin-off of the Captain Underpants series, which I haven't read the Dogman books. They came out when I was a bit older, but I have read all of the Captain Underpants books. I have reread them recently, and I did a video talking about them. I'm still, in all honesty, a big fan of the Captain Underpants series, yeah, even as a grown man. No, genuinely, they are really good books. I still really enjoy them. Now, the most I am familiar with Dogman, so it's in the books. In the books, Dogman is a fictional character who was created by George and Harold, who are the characters in Captain Underpants. They like to make comics and stuff, and yeah, in the Captain Underpants books, they'd have at least one chapter where the whole thing is just a comic that's written by George and Harold, and then yeah, and Dogman was a character they had created in their comics. Now, I never read the Dogman spin-off books, but I am familiar with Dogman because they do show the Dogman comics in some of the later Captain Underpants books. It is actually mentioned in the very first Captain Underpants book that Dogman was the first character they created, but you don't actually see the Dogman comic until the 9th book, and yeah, some of the ones after that they show the Dogman comics again. So I'm familiar with Dogman because of those. And also I do know Petey the Cat. He actually originally appeared in Super Diaper Baby 2. There he is, which this is another spin-off of Captain Underpants, where it's a story that was written in universe by George and Harold, the characters from Captain Underpants. So yeah, I mean, I never read the Dogman books, but yeah, I rather enjoyed this movie. It is good fun. I'm glad they did make another Dave Pilkey adaptation, because yeah, I am a fan of his book. I'm a fan of Captain Underpants. I'm a fan of some of his other books as well. One thing though is they never actually, in the books, Dogman it's created by George and Harold. They never actually say that it's created by them in this movie. So yeah, I'm not sure if in the movie universe it's created by them, but yeah, it's still a good fun movie. I know it's directed by Peter Hastings, he's worked a lot on the Captain Underpants Netflix series, which I do enjoy. I think that's a fun adaptation of the books. And yeah, I have seen also in interviews Pete Davidson. He has actually said he grew up being a big fan of the Captain Underpants books, and I have also seen, yeah, because Pete Davidson voices Petey, by the way, the cat, and also Isla Fisher, who voices the news reporter. I've heard her say in interviews that her son is a big fan of Captain Underpants, or at least her son is a big fan of Dogman, and they've read the books together. So that's nice. It's good that they have people in it who are fans of the franchise. Peter Hastings, he worked on the Captain Underpants Netflix series, and he said he first knew of Dave Pilkey stuff because his kids read the Captain Underpants books. Oh, and I should also mention that Peter Hastings, the director, he also did the voice he did the barks for Dogman himself. I don't know if he voiced the human that who he was before he got the dog head put on him. I'm not sure if Peter Hastings did the voice for that, but I know he did the dog noises for him. So yeah, rather enjoyed this film. I don't know if they'd make a sequel because unfortunately, like, despite how much of a big hit this was, the like animation company that did the animation, not DreamWorks, but like they outsourced the animation. They got another studio to do the animation. They shut down. I don't know if they'd get a sequel, but I think I did hear Peter Hastings, the director, said like maybe they could do a Dogman series, which would be cool because I mean he has worked on the Captain Underpants Netflix series, so it would be kind of cool if they did the same with Dogman. So yeah, rather enjoyed this movie. Next I'll show, I got this Criterion Blu-ray of Godzilla vs. Biollante, or I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that, but yeah. Yeah, so this is a Godzilla movie from the Heisei era, which Criterion actually have put out a box set of the Godzilla films from the Showa era, which I've always really wanted to get that, but unfortunately it always seems to be very expensive. So yeah, but that is something that I would like to get one day if I ever see it at like a more reasonable price. But this from the Heisei era. The other film I've seen from this era was like The Return of Godzilla, or I think it's also known as Godzilla 1985, even though it actually came out in 1984 in Japan. But yeah, really enjoyed this film. It was a lot of fun, honestly. The Biollante itself, however you pronounce it, that was really cool. It's a plant, you know, that's living. Yeah, and there's a lot of good Godzilla action in it as well. And I actually enjoyed a lot of the human characters in it, actually. So yeah, this one I would certainly recommend to people who haven't seen it. I think it's a lot of fun. Now here's a Blu-ray from Warner Archive, and I was interested in it because of like the stars. And it's Corvette Summer, starring Mark Hamill. This sort of meant to be like his follow-up to Star Wars. It was right after the original Star Wars, and I think it didn't do that well, like, because he didn't do that well as like a live action actor outside of Star Wars. I know he's had a big career as a voice actor, but he didn't have that big of a career outside of Star Wars in terms of live action films. But this one with Annie Potts, I guess this must have been before she was really that known, because this was before Ghostbusters, which is what a lot of people will know her from. So yeah, I was interested in it because of it starring Mark Hamill and Annie Potts. It was a bit odd seeing Mark Hamill in this sort of setting, like in a real life, like normal setting, because I'm used to seeing him in like a galaxy far, far away when he's acting. But it's not a bad film. It's quite entertaining. I did quite like the twist in it. But yeah, it's an interesting curiosity, because if you want to see Mark Hamill in a live action starring role outside of Star Wars, you know, I know he also did a live action role in Kingsman: The Secret Service, but yeah, apart from that, I like a lot of his other stuff is like voice acting, so it's cool to see it was interesting to see this him in a live action starring role. And now the last Blu-ray in this update before I get onto the DVDs. It's a HMV Premium Blu-ray, and it's of King Creole, I think is how you say it. It's an Elvis Presley movie, and this is often seen as his best movie, and this I think was his favourite as well of the films he made. And yeah, because I do know like it's generally known like a lot of his movies he did later on were quite stupid, and I think Elvis himself was not very happy with a lot of the movies he made, but I understand this was more the sort of movie that he wanted to make. And his role in this was originally written for James Dean, but then, like, you know, he died in the car crash. And it's directed by Michael Curtiz, who directed like Casablanca and like The Adventures of Robin Hood, and White Christmas and stuff. So I am interested in checking this out. It's kind of interesting. I didn't notice this before. It's kind of a DVD shape case, kind of like Criterion. I mean, maybe they changed that for the premium Blu-rays, but the other premium Blu-rays I've got are shaped like regular Blu-rays, but maybe they started doing this later on in the collection. I don't know. I mean, this is like a bit later on than like some of the others. Like this is number 124 in the collection. But yeah, I look forward to watching this. I do like Elvis's music. In terms of his movies, I've seen Jailhouse Rock, which I quite liked, but some like stuff I've seen from the other movies, they do look kind of stupid, but this one I'm looking forward to since it's known to be like his best movie. And finally, the last thing I'll show is the only DVD in this update, and it's Scary Movie 3. Yes, I have seen this movie before, and I rewatched it now. I've got it on DVD. Yeah, I've seen the first 4 Scary movies. I haven't seen the 5th one. The 5th one looks garbage, but yeah, apparently they're making a 6th one now. So yeah. But yeah, I remember kind of liking this one. I did kind of enjoy it again, watching it again. And another thing, this is directed by David Zucker, and it has Leslie Nielsen in it as the president. I did like him in this movie, I must say. And this one was written by Pat Proft, and of course David Zucker, Leslie Nielsen and Pat Proft all worked on the Naked Gun movies, the originals, and this one does actually have a cameo in it by Pamela Anderson, who's going to be in the new Naked Gun coming out. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. I know that David Zucker is actually very unhappy about the new Naked Gun coming out with Liam Neeson. But yeah, I mean, one thing I will say, like, about the Liam Neeson Naked Gun, I did find it quite funny in the trailer when they had the joke about O.J. Simpson. But yeah, as for the Scary Movie series, like, I like the first one. Then the second one I really didn't like. I know some people do like Scary Movie 2, but from what I remember, I really hated that movie. But then Scary Movie 3 I actually kind of liked. And then the 4th one after that I didn't like as much as this one. And then I haven't seen 5, because 5 looks more like just Seltzerberg type thing, even though I know Seltzer and Friedberg wrote the first one, but that's the only movie that they've been involved with that I don't mind. I mean, I will say, I like Scary Movie 1 and 3, but I absolutely detest the spin-offs like Epic Movie and all those, and I hate like the movies, you know, by Aaron Seltzer and Jason Friedberg. But yeah, I did kind of like this. I mean, I don't know why it parodies like 8 Mile, because that's not a horror movie, but I do quite like the way it parodies, you know, Signs and The Ring and stuff like that. And of course, I really enjoyed Leslie Nielsen as the president in this. He was funny. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed seeing the stuff that I picked up, as well as hear me follow up on that previous life update video. Yeah, leave a comment if you want. You can tell me if you like any of the stuff that I showed here. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to be going on holiday soon, actually, so I mean, I don't know when my next video will be, but yeah, stay tuned for whenever, you know, I upload a new video. And yeah, take care, guys. Bye.